Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to Freedom Algo. Hope you're having a good Monday. I just got back from taking a break, so I haven't charted out this area up here. So just give me a few moments to get acclimated here. All right. Okay. Let me know in the chat, how's your Monday going? Happy New Year to everybody. All right. All right, let's see here. Let's see. So, this is what we look like. Basically, it's an up day. Do I need to move? Hold on, hang on a second. I'm gonna move myself over. All right, there we go. Moving myself over. I think that's easier for an uptrend day for me to be in the bottom right. All right, anyway, let's get into it. So this is what it looks like. We had last week closing right here on this low. We had a down day on that day. So if you come back and zoom out a bit, like each one of these is a day between these dotted lines. And you can see that this day in particular, last week, which was January 2nd, we came up and then we just rocketed down and we rallied and kind of closed near the middle, basically closing in the same area pretty much as December 31st. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little under the weather, just trying to recover still. All right. So here we go. So right here, we came up after we opened. We had this gap on the chart, which is still there now. We never came down and filled the gap. We touched it in the overnight, but nothing crazy. And so we ended up with this up channel. Basically came up, close outside, new high. It kept grinding higher, so I drew a wider channel. Now there was two ways to draw it today. One way was off of this low. The other way was off this first higher low after the open. So I had both of them on there. You can kind of see both of these big wide channels. Not really knowing which one is going to play out. I started with the lower one, and then eventually I drew the other one. Now, as we came up here, this was in the going into the pre-market. I think we opened up here somewhere. 6:30. Yeah, we opened right here. This is where we opened for this morning. Moved over, ran higher. We had this little down channel. Now, we're expecting a new low on this down channel after this, and this had shot up pretty far. So if you were looking to go short, you could, because it was looking a little bit like an overshoot. You probably would get a new low here. So there's a possibility of going short here on a first entry, second entry short with a double top there. Creates a new high on this little up move. So there's reasons to like going short here. It's not ideal. It's kind of in the middle. It's overall a bullish bias, so it is risky, but it's there. It's probably going to scalp. You get a triple test here, but you can't go short down there. It's too big of a bar, and then you get an inside bar anyway. So nothing there. It runs higher. And then after this channel up, you get a close outside new high, and then you get a lower high. This is also from this low, a first entry, second entry short, lower high. I did take this trade because at this point I'm thinking, okay, well, we made a new high already. We got room to the EMA. We're probably going to like grind down. Not a lot of room to the EMA, but we're probably going to grind down because it was starting to look a little bit like a range. So I did take it. It's not perfect, but it's there. And then you get a failed second entry long here. That one's even riskier, but if you took that, it does work because you have a down channel established. And I was thinking maybe we come down and try to fill the gap and have a range day, but it didn't happen. It ended up just going higher here. So when we got back to this channel and bounced, then we close outside, come up here, then we get this one. Now this is when I start thinking, okay, that channel that I drew off of this low connects here. So there might be a wider channel in play. So at this point, I stopped looking for shorts and I was like, all right, I'm long only. Because we now have these touches down here and then these kind of confirmation area. And even if this is a close outside of this channel, we would expect a new high, which does happen right away. But when it keeps grinding higher, I think the wider channel was in play. There's unfortunately not really much setups in here. You get a first entry, nothing there. There's a second entry. There's a higher low here, but it's moved too far after that, and you just rejected this. You might reject this zone. So I just think it's too risky. Second entry makes a new high. Nothing there. This pulls down. There is a hidden trade here. There's a move down pullback. This is like a hidden second entry long off of this possible key entry point. If you took that, it's risky. It is risky. I'll mark it. I didn't like this in real time, but it is a hidden second entry long. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It's like a two-legged correction. It's a more advanced setup. Technically, the second entry long happens here after it engulfs this bar, but you can't take that. When you get this triple test with a bullish bar, you could take that, but again, you don't have a lot of room to the highs. You don't know for sure that you're not going to reject like somewhere in here. So there's some risk there, or maybe here. You know, they don't have a lot of room. So if you took that, it's there, but I don't love it. I really don't. Then you have a second entry long here with the higher low, but I don't like the way that formed. It didn't bounce off the level. First, there's a second entry long here, but let's see. So again, I just got back, so I didn't have a chance to chart this yet. So you have a first entry, second entry long. How big is this bar? 6 ticks. Well, I think it technically qualifies as a bullish enough candle to take. But I don't know. I mean, you are expecting a new high. I'm not taking that in real time. Like, there's no way I would take that. I just don't think it's good enough. It's looking like kind of rangy. I just don't think it's good enough, so I'm not going to mark it. Yeah, hindsight 2020, all that stuff, but I just don't like it. All right, then you get a first entry, second entry long here. Now, let's see here, though, because that was coming off that high. You already made the new high. Yeah, you can't take that either because you just made the new high. I think it's too risky to try to take a trade there. You might be forming some sort of a flat channel here. Maybe you argue that there's a flat channel in play. And then you have a first entry. It's kind of a second entry long, but it's like this engulfing bar, so it's kind of weird. I don't know how that actually played out in real time because I wasn't watching it, so I can't really say. If this broke lower first and then came up and closed up here, then it's kind of like a trap. I won't mark it because I still think it's too risky, but it might be. It might be one of those. So we just let it ride, and that's how I saw it. It's all pretty much yellow arrow trades today. Not anything super great, but that's what it is sometimes. There'll probably be some stuff that sets up later. Volume's a little thin right now, so we'll see. Let me know in the chat. How's your day going? And if you have any questions, just drop them in. Got my herbal tea. I got a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of a cough, so doing my best here. Oh, that's right. Let me actually pull this up. Give me a second here. I had to pull something up. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. So if you look here at the Freedom Algo School community, I want to make sure I quickly mention this. Again, it's $99 a month, but it has a 7-day free trial. As always, there's a... Hold on, heck. Oh, there we go. There's a 7-day free trial. But what I wanted to tell everybody was I'm building an NLP for trading course. It's going to be free for members in here. So it's not live yet, but it will be here soon. And you can see it says coming soon right here. So this will be available to people coming soon. I'm working on this, and I made a video about it on the channel. So if you haven't watched that video, it went live on Saturday. So go look at that video on NLP for trading. It talks about what I'm building and what I'm going to be launching later this month. So should be a really good thing once it comes out. And it'll be a new course that will be, I think, a lot more effective at helping people with trading psychology issues. So that's what that's going to be. Mindset, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly announce that that's going to be coming out soon. And I made a video about it that I published on Saturday. Yeah, basically the video is just me walking and talking on the beach, talking about what it's going to be and how it's going to be structured and stuff. So that's going to be a cool thing. All right. Quiet chat today. We got a quiet chat today. If you're here and you got a question, let me know. Otherwise, we might end up having a shorter stream just because price action is pretty slow right now. We keep grinding higher. So on a day like this, you got to be aware of like the grind up. You can sometimes look for spikes and you can look for like flatter channels. Like this one looks like it might overlap here. Something like that might be in play, like a flatter channel from this low. So you just have to be aware of these little channels as possibilities because we keep grinding up. So that'll happen. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, Misha, that's great. So I cover this. I do talk about this one. I talk about it a lot in live streams, and I definitely have covered it on the channel somewhere before. I know that I have some videos on YouTube where I talk about it. But basically, this is a 2000 tick chart. So what that means is that every one of these candlesticks has 2,000 transactions happening. So 2,000 trades in each candle. And what that means is that like it might mean that there's one trade might only be one contract, one trade might be 30 contracts. So it doesn't necessarily tell you the volume. If you use my indicator that I built for NinjaTrader, you can middle click on any candle and it will show you the volume. I think you actually can see that either way, but it shows you there's 2753 volume in that candle. The one next to it actually has 2854. So even though they both have 2,000 trades, one of these candles has more volume of contracts traded. So that can happen. But what I like about the tick chart is the speed at which it prints shows you how many people are transacting in the market, right? How many transactions are happening. So if you have if it starts printing slow, like you can see it counting down the number of ticks left. If it starts printing slow, it means there's less people transacting. Now, with a time-based chart, it's going to print regardless. Even if there's only one transaction in a minute, it'll still print a 1-minute candle, right? That's not how tick charts are. So the tick chart actually shows you the speed at which trades are happening, which helps you understand how the market's actually moving. You can see more flow of movement than you do on a time-based chart. If you pull up a time-based chart and look at the overnight, you'll still have 1 bar for every minute on a 1-minute chart. Whereas with the tick chart, you go look at the overnight. Here's an example, right? The market opened over here. So in the overnight, you only have, 69 bars in a period of 15 hours and 26 minutes. And that's because the bars were taking forever to print. Like you can see this bar. Here, let's click one over here. This bar printed at 22:29. The next bar was 15 minutes later. or so. The next bar was what? 25 minutes later, something like that. I don't know if I did that math right, but you know, basically you get the idea. So that helps you see the speed at which transactions are happening, how fast or slow the market is moving. You don't even have to look at volume because you can see it all on the ticks. The other thing about it is that you see more nuance in the actual movement than you do on a time-based chart. So for example, every once in a while on like a, let's say a 1 minute chart, you might have a huge bar that on the tick chart would have been 3 bars because there was a bunch of transactions that happened all at once. You get a little bit more data on the tick chart, and the way that the price action forms happen is a little better. Now you can trade a time-based chart as well. You just tend to get less setups in my experience. He's on vacation right now, but when Sean gets back, Sean can talk to you about this. Sean is in our community. When he gets back from vacation, I'm sure that he'll talk to you about this if you ask him. But he actually trades both. He trades the tick chart on his computer, and then he trades the time-based chart. Sometimes if he's like traveling or whatever, because he doesn't have, like if he has to trade from like a tablet or something, he doesn't have NinjaTrader with the tick charts on there. So he'll trade with a time-based chart, and he'll tell you firsthand that both of them work, but the tick chart works better. You just get more setups. So that's the short of it. If you take like a 1 minute chart and a tick chart and look at them side by side, you'll get a very clear idea of what I mean. So you can try that out, but I find that the tick chart to be way superior. It works better for seeing price action. So hopefully that helps. But again, you can trade time-based charts. Price action works on time-based charts as well. Does that answer it for you? And by the way, we have the rest of the week, we have our Zoom calls. So feel free to pop into the Zoom calls if you're in the school community. We have a Zoom call tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, because we do the Zoom calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. We just do YouTube on Mondays and Fridays. So on the Zoom call, I'll go in more depth on it if you want. We can pull things up, take a look at those, all that sort of stuff. Oh, and give me 1 second. I got to check something real fast. Hold on 1 second. All right, my bad. I had to look at something real quick. All right, so we are still grinding in this little channel here. To get the wider one on here is a possibility as well, which I drew off of that low. It's probably better to draw this wider one off of the close here. I actually like it a little better off of that close right there. And then we'll drag this up just very slightly, drag that down to that close. That looks a little bit more accurate. All right. Okay. Any other questions, just drop them in the chat. I'm going to take a sip of my tea here. So just drop any questions in the chat if you got them. Yeah, you can see that midline. See that midline? That midline tells me that this wider channel might be in play. What I'm actually going to do is remove this and just look at the wider channel here as a flatter channel that is possibly formed. Midline seems to be in play. That's a perfect touch of the midline. Perfect touch there. Perfect touch here. Playing on both sides of the midline. You can see a lot of touches on there. So this does appear to be in play if we do have a flatter channel. So I'm going to run with this for now. And what I'd be looking for is maybe second entry longs off of the bottom of the trend line. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this. Alright, just getting some spam out of here. Thought my phone was ringing. I thought it was going to be important, but it's not. It's spam as per usual. Got a first entry short there, but we might get a second entry short, but I would not be looking to take it or take a failure here. Not a good move. Hey, Daryl, good to see you. Happy New Year. So there is a second entry short forming right here, but not one that I'm going to take. You don't want to necessarily short the high of the day right here with this bullish momentum that we've been seeing throughout the day. So just got to be patient. If you guys have any questions on any setups from today, or if you took any trades or looked at any areas that you might think, hey, I thought I saw a setup there, let me know a timestamp. Make sure you tell me what time zone you're talking about, because I'm in Pacific time. And then I'm happy to take a look at it. And I'll wait a couple more minutes for any questions to come through. And we'll see. I'm not going to make the stream super long today just because price action is pretty slow right now. So we already covered all the setups for the day. We'll probably do a little bit of a longer call tomorrow in the school community on Zoom. But it always depends on how many people we got. What we usually do here is start to get a trend line ready. Oh, nice. Yeah, so Daryl, I took just one as well. I only took one, and it was the one right before that. So I took the lower high after the second entry short here. So I took this one. So we basically were riding in the same direction there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, Daryl. Like, I agree. Like, you know, this was kind of a, you know, when you have a slow grind with a flatter channel, you can trade both sides of it. You just have to be careful. And neither one of these were ideal. I mean, they're both, for me, yellow arrow trades. Like, not ideal. Really, none of the trades today were ideal. And even this one was on the cusp. On the cusp. If this closed one tick higher, I wouldn't have taken it as a lower high. But it qualified. So I liked it. And so I went for it. I didn't take the failure, but I did take, like I said, I took this one. Ended up actually getting stopped on my runner from the failure because I had moved it to +1. But that's okay. If this one wasn't a hidden second entry long, I would have marked it green, but it was a hidden one, so I had to mark it yellow. On some people's charts, they might have actually had a regular second entry long here. That would have been the best trade of the day, probably, but the hidden made me give pause there. Same thing here, this triple test, you didn't have a lot of room, so there's just yeah, not ideal. We might get a second entry long here off of the trend line, so we can wait a second and see if it pops up. Let's see if we get one. And I might correct this channel a little bit. I might actually make it slightly wider. See what fits best. Something like this. I do think it fits okay like that. Yeah, see, it's just slow ride here. We got the slow ride. All right, so we're getting a first entry If it breaks higher, first entry long. Close outside new low as well, which is positive. So second entry long could form soon. If this forms, it might give us a hidden, might just be a hidden first entry. Yeah, see, this is the thing today. Come on, fam. So, fake out move right there. No, so Modern Mind, thanks for the question. No, I trade what's called price action. So trend lines are a big part of it. I only use the EMA. That's the only like regular indicator on the chart, 21 EMA. 2000 tick chart, ES. I draw trend lines. I draw ranges. So you can see earlier we had a range. This was trading a range in here. So I'll draw ranges. Sometimes like the range is also just like a support level or support and resistance. And then I trade based on what's happening with the price action within its context, and then specific rules following the way that the trend line and ranges and everything behaves. Misha, no, I don't know if they're necessarily created on purpose. I think that a lot of times they are, it's an attempt of the buyers here. Like the buyers were trying to push the price up and the sellers were putting a lot of pressure on there. But because it didn't even tick higher, it didn't even create a proper leg of correction. So there's just overwhelming sell pressure here. I don't know that I would call it like big players or whatnot, but yeah. And now you can see what's happened there. We don't even have a first entry, so it's just pushing lower. So you got to be careful here. Let's see how this bar closes. It would give a hidden second entry, but not one that you'd take with all of these red bars in a row. Too risky. No, Modern. I don't even look at the NQ. I don't like the NQ overall. I like the ES, but there's no reason to look at them both at the same time anyway, because they basically move almost the same way. Yeah, I don't mess with that. I don't even know what silver bullet is I've never heard of that in trading. I know what the other thing is that you mentioned, the IF inverted fair value gap stuff. I don't mess with the ICT stuff. I don't like it personally. I just to me it doesn't resonate. But if you like it, that's cool. That's cool. It doesn't resonate for me. I trade based on momentum as a scalper. So when I enter on stop orders like one tick above or below the bar, instead of like trying to get limit orders on like random pullback areas. I don't mess with the fair value gap stuff. I just think it's, personally, I think it's a dangerous way to trade, but that's my opinion, and it's just not my style. It's not for me. I know some people make money from it and they like it, but I don't like it personally. But if it's working for you, more power to you. More power to you. I only talk about what I trade here, and the way I do it, and it's very straightforward. The way I trade is very like, it's not easy to learn, but it is simple overall. Like there's only certain types of setups that I look for. You have to be patient, and then it's scalping in and out, leaving runners. So we do have a first entry long here, pullback first entry long. It's a close outside new low as well. So we could get a higher low, second entry long, possibly. But hey, man, thanks for popping in today. I appreciate it. And I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if you were here, but I mentioned earlier that I dropped a video on Saturday about an upcoming thing that I'm launching in the Freedom Algo school community. All the info is in the chat or the description. There's a 7-day free trial, but I will be rolling out the NLP stuff later this month. Right now I'm just doing some other stuff, doing some one-on-one sessions with people, things like that. But I will be rolling out an actual course that will be available to everybody that's in the paid community. All right, so let me shrink this back real quick So I am going to slightly widen this just because it still fits. Still fits off of this level here. So I'm going to slightly widen that as a possibility. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to keep widening it. I'm just going to widen it one time. Just that one time, just to see what we get here. Because if it holds there, that's just not a convincing close outside for me. So that's why. So I want to widen it very slightly. It could form the higher low still. Second entry long. I think it's starting to get a little dicey with that, you know, having to widen the channel. It's a pretty bearish looking bar. So it's a little dicey. All those bars in a row. But we could get one here. So let's see. I'm going to wrap up in a minute. I'm done for the day, but I just figured that we could watch it and see if there's anything that pops up here. We might get the higher low here, but at this point, it's forming pretty high up, which I don't love. The ATR has dropped pretty dramatically. It's below a 2 right now, so it's always dicey when the ATR gets that low. Yeah, we're getting a big bar too. For a low ATR with a big bar, it starts to become a little bit funky. So, but it's forming. I mean, it is forming. It looks like it might hold the key entry point. So just a quick question, if you're still here, Modern Mind. What's your reason for, why do you trade the NQ over the ES? Because you said you watch both, so I'm just curious, what makes you choose NQ over ES? Never formed. Can't enter that now because this bar never broke higher. So if you were trying to go long there, you can't even take it anyway. Such is life on days like this sometimes. But that's following the rules. All right, everybody. I'm going to wrap up here because I don't see any more questions coming through. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow we got the Zoom call in the school community, and Wednesday and Thursday as well. I'll be back on YouTube on Friday. So hope everybody had a great day, and I will see you all soon.